4 past Barcelona, at home for Barcelona as well. It is the first time a team outside of the big three of Real Madrid, Barcelona and Atleti is alone in first place in La Liga this late into the season since the 2006-2007 season. Back then it was Sevilla, and by the way, that year it went right to the final day where 3 teams could have actually won it. So maybe we do have quite the race this season coming up. But as for Girona, wow, they definitely showed that they are the real deal this season. But we have some questions to ask of Barcelona. At half-time, Luis Garcia, who's joining us now, you were pretty fine. You were pretty happy with what you'd seen from Barcelona, even though they were trailing. How do you feel at full-time?
Okay, let me rephrase what I said at halftime. I was happy for what I saw up front. I think that Barcelona was creating, was very dynamic and intense. They were making a good pressure because they were committing so many players in the pitch of Girona. So they very soon regained the ball and attack again. But I'm not talking about the defense. And Ali made a fantastic points about when Barcelona was in transition in defense. There were so many options for Girona, so many spaces open, so many people just ball watching, and not at all when Ali was mentioning about when someone is with the ball under control, you cannot allow the ball just to pass you and run to the space to make the challenge and allow your opponent to go into the space. When you are defending, normally what you are trying to send the message of my defense is going to be outside of the box in that line. In defense of Barcelona, it was sitting back deeper and deeper, just waiting for the opponents to arrive in front of you so that nobody was closing down. And we've seen it not only once, twice, but 3 or 4 occasions. Miguel Gutierrez today was 3 times, and we are talking about a fullback or a wingback, into the box, alone and free to make the challenge. So that's the kind of mistakes that we've seen in Barcelona, and why Barcelona is not being consistent. Last year, they were so strong because Barcelona in defense were very good. Everyone was defending, everyone was focused, and the intensity at the back, it was always there. In the last goal of Girona today, no one is paying attention, or the ball is stopped. It's a free kick, and no one is paying attention, or the people is running. And that's something that Xavi needs to pay attention on and to be concerned, because if they continue like this, now it's 7 points on Girona and 5 of Real Madrid. But Barcelona needs to continue playing in Champions League, needs to continue playing in La Liga and in La Copa del Rey very soon. So when you are in all the competitions, if you don't pay attention to this kind of moment, you're going to struggle to be ready to challenge for La Liga at the end of the season.
Barcelona, let me just tell you, for all the good things that they did last week against Atletico Madrid, all of that goodwill that they may have built after that performance and after that result, more importantly, all of that is gone today. Today was a critical match for them and a must-win game for them in so many different levels. And just as important as it is the points, which is obvious to see the standings and the difference that these 3 points make both for Girona and for Barcelona, it's the feeling about the team. The feeling that Girona, who's an afterthought in Catalonia and has been an afterthought in Catalonia over the course of whenever this club has been around in the first division in La Liga, you don't think of Girona when you think of Catalonia. You don't. And whoever says, oh, no, they've been here alone. No. People that are talking about Girona because of this season, what they have done this season. They have been an afterthought in La Liga. Just another team. A cute story with a cute stadium from a cute city. But now, right now, where we stand, Girona are not only the best team in Catalonia, they're the best team in La Liga, in all of Spain. So to them, credit. As to for Barcelona, I go back to those feelings. When you're now second best to the other team that is supposed to be looking up to you because you're mighty and powerful Barcelona, you are supposed to be the point of reference. You're no longer the point of reference in Catalonia. It is Girona, because that's what we see in the performance, and that's what we see in the games. And so how, as a team, if you're Xavi and you're the players, how is it that you show up the next day with certainty that things are going to turn around? What do you base that on? Where do you find the confidence to show up and say, no, guys, look, this is just a bad patch. We're going to be okay. Based on what? Because we're seeing the same defensive mistakes today that we have seen over the course of the whole season. And that hasn't been addressed. The 4 goals they allowed today are juvenile mistakes. Juvenile mistakes. This is U16, U15 sort of thing. The 3rd goal, it's shameful stuff. It's a punt from the goalkeeper. A punt that they don't get on the first challenge, they don't get on the second challenge. The attempt at a challenge by Koundé is embarrassing, and I have a defender here who at his time was a world-class defender. He would tell you how embarrassing of a challenge that was. And they give up a goal. And you know what's worse than anything? Nobody seems to care. For the very part of that second half, who was creating the better chances? Girona were. And who was trailing in the game? Barcelona was. And who's at home? Barcelona. And whose responsibility is to play well at home and win games at home? Barcelona. Who was it a must-win game? Barcelona. Did they show that attitude? Absolutely not. It wasn't until the last 5 minutes when they got desperate, all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, now we're going to play. Now we're going to create chances. Now we're going to get a scoring opportunity for Lewandowski. It's all too late. You didn't deserve it over the course of the game. Girona, well done.
What about Xavi's thoughts on his defensive lineup and the formation in the second half there, Luis, given what we'd seen in the first half as well?
No, when you're trying to build a trust in that defense, and we've seen it because he's been repeating this formation for the last 3 games. So what he's trying to do is to give them the confidence to build like we saw last year. And with Cancelo on the left side, is something going to happen all the time. It's something that Barcelona needs to be aware. He's a player who is out of position. He's a player who is not really a defender. If we talk about a strong defense, very defensive, he's a player who is going to add into the midfield. He's going to add things up front.
See if you found that hard to watch back again there. This
horrendous. I don't know who's more at fault, Koundé because he's the last attempted challenge, or Cancelo, who just either had no idea that he was there or just didn't want to chase him. There is one thing, though, that I can't help. It's stuck in my head. And when we should be talking about how fantastic Girona were, I can't help thinking that in the 94th minute, a guy who was the greatest centre-forward on the planet has a free header 6 yards from goal to steal a point and misses the header and hits his shoulder. I mean, when he scored his first goal, everybody's, well, you know, the drought's over, and you know, people are saying he's gone, and where's the real Lewandowski? Well, that's all forgotten now, because the only thing that people will be thinking is that attempted header that could have stole a point. I mean, that I can't get that out of my head. I just don't believe I saw it. That's how bad a header, that's how bad an attempt that this was.
Okay, we're showing you the table now, and take a look at the top 4 teams in that table, of which Barcelona are still there right now. Girona, Real Madrid, Atleti and Barcelona. We want percentages on who's going to win the league here. Okay. Let me start with you, LA.
Well, it's not Barcelona, and I don't think it's Atletico Madrid either. So then it comes down to Girona and Real Madrid. I don't think, if you had sat down Michel, the coach for Girona, before the season, and you had told them, best case scenario, where are you going to be 2 weeks away from Christmas in this league? Well, I tell you, we certainly hope that we're somewhere in European competition positions, maybe perhaps sneaking into a top 4 position. I think that perhaps that's our best. Maybe that's what we should push for, but quite frankly, I think somewhere in Europe would be great for us. Best case scenario. Best case scenario. They're in first place. And deservedly so. Deservedly so. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. It's too good of a story to last. Is this going to be Leicester? I don't quite think so. And I don't think so because eventually Vini Jr. is going to come back from injury. Eventually Real Madrid is going to get a string of results together. And this is the part that I think addresses some of the needs and wants for Girona. I think in terms of their depth, there are going to be issues as this season goes on. And if they have a bad injury, or if they have key players that fall off, then who comes in and makes a difference for them? The difference, I think, in the long run, from both Girona and Real Madrid is that I think Real Madrid has a know-how and an experience to be in that moment, to know what that moment feels like. I'm going to give the percentage of 75% to Real Madrid, 25% Girona, Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. Thanks for coming. This is not your year.
But you're saying Girona are the best challengers to Real Madrid for the title and this season.
Well, they're the only challengers to Real Madrid this season.
What do you say, Luis?
I'm very surprised because we are not even in half of the season. So I'm not sure if saying that Barcelona and Atletico Madrid are not going to be fighting is the right call. I guess that the Hali knows something that I don't know, because I know that Real Madrid is going to drop points. I know that Atletico Madrid is going to drop points. I know that Barcelona is going to drop points because there's still so many games to be played. And I know that Girona is going to drop points, probably because that team is not built for success. It's not built to be a winner of La Liga. And at the end of the season, when the things are getting closer and the pressure start getting higher and higher, because that's the way that the players are going to feel it, kind of what happened with Arsenal in Premier League not long ago. In the last part of the season, legs start getting a little bit shaky. People start feeling not wanting the ball, not doing the same things. And of course, the things not happening the way that we are seeing right now. But for me, I think that Atletico Madrid looks stronger to fight for Real Madrid for the challenge. And Real Madrid, don't forget, it's just a couple of games and you are back into the race. And I don't think that Barcelona, with the squad that they have, we can put it out of the race, because definitely there's still a lot to be done and for all the teams up front.
All right, well, time will tell. But so far, Girona are...
But no percentage. I had to give percentages. I had to give numbers.